What up, y'all? It's Defiantly Silver here, and today I'm going to be opening up some TCG packs on Pokemon Live. I'm going to be answering one of our viewer questions, and I'm going to be commentating a little bit on Prismatic Evolutions. So the comment by one of my viewers states, "I'm not that experienced with your Pokemon cards, but you seem to know a lot of strategies. Do you think the Crystal Pokemon are good in the game? If the Crystal Pokemon that you're talking about are Terra-type Pokemon, they have their advantages, they also have their disadvantages. I'm going to give a good example of that here in a minute. So right now I have 9 cards out in front of me. I have a Palisand EX Terra-type, I have a Pikachu EX Terra-type, I have a Hydreigon EX Terra-type, I have a Kilowattrel EX, I have a Pidgeot EX, a Durant EX, Zoroark Stage 1, Genesect Basic, and a Fracture Stage 1. Now, of all these cards, it's great to have a Palisand EX, it's great to have your Pikachu EX, and it's great to have your Hydreigon EX, if you know how to build a deck around supporting those cards. That applies to every card, not just Terra types. The Palisand happens to be weak to Dark type, and Hydreigon here is a Dark type, which also happens to be weak to Grass. So, realistically, the Hydreigon EX, which is a Terra type, might not do that great against my Durant EX, which is a Grass type. The Hydreigon EX has almost double of Durant's HP, but because Durant EX is a Grass type, and Hydreigon EX happens to be weak to Grass type, it would take 2 times damage from it. Durant EX is 120 plus damage. This attack deals 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent has taken 3 prize cards, it's going to deal 90 more damage on top of that 120. And 90 damage plus that 120, double it, you're going to be taking it out because you're going to be dealing like 410 to this dude's Hydreigon. Like I said, this Hydreigon's a Terra type. This Durant is just a normal EX. But here's how crazy it also gets. The Zoroark card, for 2 energy, Illusory Hijacking. This attack does 60 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon B that are in play. Within a turn or two, you might be able to set up this Zoroark. You were able to get Zorua, or you were able to get something that allowed you to pull Zoroark or Zorua within your first couple turns. If you can start stacking energy on this card super early, I mean, you don't need much, you only really need 2, and it can be any type. It just says basic energy. It doesn't require specific fire, it doesn't require specific fighting, no steel, nothing. The Illusory Hijacking, if your opponent has 3 EX Pokemon in play, well guess what? That 3 EX Pokemon just made this card 180. It's a basic stage 2 card that could do 180. I mean, if it's stacked up with all 6 plus 1, you could be doing 420 damage with this card if they have 7 cards in play. Granted, this thing's kind of cannon fodder, and what I mean by cannon fodder is its HP is so low that almost any attack out there, even from other basic Pokemon, are going to be dealing enough damage to pretty much knock it out. And if I look at the Zoroark right next to the Genesect that I have here, Zoroark has 120 HP, Genesect has 110. Zoroark's second attack, Claw Slash, does 110 damage for 3 energy. Magnetic Blast from Genesect does 100. Mind you, Genesect might not be able to knock out Zoroark, but Zoroark in 1 attack can knock out this Genesect. Zoroark in 2 attacks could knock out the Durant EX. The Zoroark in 2 attacks could knock out this Pikachu EX. It all depends on what you have and how you use it. When I think of building a Pokemon deck, I think of looking at a puzzle with 60 pieces that are all interchangeable. You want to use the 60 cards available to make best image that you can that paints a big W out of those 60 cards. How you do that is up to you. How you determine what you want to use is practicing with your deck, figuring out what does work, what doesn't work, and improving on it. Now that I've kind of talked a little bit about Terra-type Pokemon and actually how you want to try and attempt to structure your deck, there's something else I really want to touch on. And it is going to be the Prismatic Evolutions set that is coming out. I am not excited for this set for one of many reasons. Biggest reason is price of the cards. The fact that this is just not worth it. And we have all of these scalpers out there to thank for it. Everybody who bought out cards before anybody else could have a chance to, and you only had a 10-minute window when the set was announced and when pre-orders became available. You didn't really have a lot of time. You might have had a handful of minutes to decide if you were going to get these cards. If you were asleep, oh well. If somebody else bought them out before you, oh well. Most of the ETBs should be around $50, $54 retail. And if you cannot find these at a retail store for retail price, do not buy it. People have upcharged the prices on these products to over $150 for an Elite Trainer box. I could go looking for a case of booster boxes for Stellar Crown. I could buy 6 booster boxes, 36 cards in each of those for the price of, I think it's 4 of the ETBs. I could buy 6 booster boxes. Put that into perspective. So you could get yourself 216 packs of cards. You're talking about 2,160 cards that you're going to be pulling. Or if you really want, you could buy these Elite Trainer boxes. You can decide to waste your money. Oh, that's weird. You're only getting 60 packs. Yeah, you're only getting 60 packs of cards. So for the same price as all the other sets, you're going to be upcharged over 300% if you try to buy anything that is not at a retail store or appropriate retail prices. Personally, I think there's 2 ways to go about doing this. Your average person, good luck, it ain't gonna happen. That includes me. I'm not touching this set with a 10-foot pole unless I can find it for appropriate retail prices. I am not going to encourage this inflated price thing that's happening right now. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's appropriate for the kids that want to actually just be out there and enjoy the hobby. Now, the people who are generally able to open Prismatic Evolutions before release date were store owners who were able to get stock and inventory before anybody else. The thing that kind of sucks about that is, and it's also a benefit, they got to get all these extra cards before they got super inflated in price because of the fact that they are store owners and some of these people have their own channels. So it does get Pokemon a lot of coverage and a lot of media attention. The thing that's also really good about that is we get to see what the pull rates are like. And of the videos that I've seen, pull rates on these cards are not worth it. Well, I was scrolling through YouTube the other day. I believe it was either PokeRev or Deep Pocket Monster that I saw that was opening, I think it was supposed to be $2,000 worth of cards. And that's $2,000 of current value out of these cards, not market or retail price. When he did the price comparison to what it should have been, $680, I'm sorry, but the average person that wants to get into this set, all I gotta say is I am so sorry, man. Because if you want 10 cards of this set, any amount of these cards are almost at $18, $19 a pack. And I can't think of a single parent out there is going to be able or capable or willing to spend that type of money on their kid. The highest cards in the set to pull are going to be 1,000 to 2,000 packs. Now, excuse me, but you really want to start a hobby off with a set of cards that is going to cost you potentially $50,000, $60,000 to complete? Just in case, I'm going to do that math really quick here. So if they're at $18 a pack, I'll do the high end and low end. If they are $18 a pack and you buy 2,000 packs, 2,000 packs at $18. You want to spend $36,000 trying to complete your set of Pokemon cards that are fucking paper and not worth shit? Okay, they're worth money, they have value, okay. But for you to attempt to pull the exact card that you need, being that Moonbreon, all the cards in the set combined are not worth $36,000. And unless you pulled a dozen of those in 2,000 cards, this set is not worth it. This set is a disaster. This set is an abomination. The fact that people think this is going to be okay is absolutely asinine. You're telling me that at $18, you want me to open 2,000 packs to attempt to find one fucking card that's not going to be worth $1,000. You want me to spend $36,000. Now, to the scalpers out there that tried to do this to our community, shouldn't be allowed to have a store. You are the people who are destroying this hobby for everybody. Because guess what? I have a job. With what I make a year, I'm not going to spend as much as I would spend on a brand new car, considering I wouldn't even spend $36,000 on a brand new car. And you want me to spend that on Pokemon cards to complete a set because you want to upcharge and inflate the market so much that it's impossible for people to play? That it's impossible for people to enjoy because they got to worry about shelling out 2 or 3 cars in an attempt to pull the exact number of cards that they need. Of the videos that I've seen so far, there's also been batching errors of the ETBs that they ended up pulling. They got 3 or 4 duplicates of the exact same card. They got the same trainer full art card like 3 times in a row. I mean, not 3 packs in a row, but of the big hits that they were finding, they were getting those. This set is not going to be worth it. If you cannot find these cards for retail price, do not buy them. do not enable people to want to keep doing this. The more that they charge, the less we should buy. As bad as the economy is, you want us to spend this much money on Pokemon cards? I get that it's a hobby, but this is ridiculous.